Yeah, just take me through the main event and kind of how you thought the race played out from your perspective.
Well, I mean, for me, the start was key. You know, I managed to come out of the first turn in second, and it was a very tight first turn, man. It was tricky, but got in a good position and was able to apply the pressure to Hammaker. He was riding great, and fans were going wild for him, so it was really cool. We had a good little cross-up battle going, and managed to get in front, and then I heard the crowd going wild even more behind me, and I looked back and I realised I had more of a gap, so just brought her home. So happy days with that, and nice to get the job done.
You had like 3 or 4 spots where you were faster, you were pulling time on him, but did you have one of those specific spots that you thought, this is where I'm going to make the move?
No, I originally thought the sand, but we were coming together, so it was quite sketchy. Then I thought the whoops, but the problem with the whoops was I was going around the outside of him, and then I was like, okay, maybe the first turn, I could get under him there, but I was always being blocked. I had a few areas that I thought about, but I couldn't really make it work until later in the race.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was obviously great fun and nice to get the job done. So
as you and Lewis talked about, this is your first dry win. Would you say this is the best you've ever felt for a Supercross main event, or have you had better mains that didn't work out as this result?
I don't know. Interesting question. I didn't feel anything too special. Weirdly, it was like it wasn't like, oh wow, I'm like doing crazy stuff. I was just hitting my marks. It was just like I was at the practice track hitting my marks, doing my thing. Some of the other races where I've got maybe worse starts, but I felt like I've been riding really well. I mean, I even felt like that in Daytona. I felt like that in a few places early on. So I don't know, maybe, but this one was definitely a real Supercross, and I was happy that we weren't just jumping the whoops the whole time. I could jump and skim, and it felt real to me, and that was cool.
Look, yesterday you said you think you can win these last 2, and I'll be honest, I was like, all right, let's see what he's really got.
Yeah.
But dude, you showed it today. Like, you really proved that the weekend off, whatever it was, you found it all again, and you look good, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good day overall. I had really good speed, and to come back after a little shoulder injury was nice to bounce back that way and, you know, show me and the people that I'm still there. And it was just a good day overall. I led a lot of laps, and the heat race win was obviously cool in front of the hometown. Starts were great. Another good pole shot in the main event. Led probably 3/4 of that almost, and then Max got around me, but tried to pick up on some of his lines. It's been a while since, like, it's one thing leading the heat race, but then, like, once you're leading the main for a while, I'm not gonna lie, I tightened up a little bit, and you know, I just kind of started thinking a little bit too much and just needed to focus on myself, and yeah, I just needed to hit my marks. But that's a learning experience in itself, just leading a main event and picking up on lines when no one else is in front of you. You got to pick up on that stuff yourself.
Yeah. When Max got you, it almost looked like you maybe took a deep breath and was like, okay, reset,
Definitely.
go after it again. Was that the case?
It was, yeah. I was like, all right, he got around me. Let's learn from him, because I knew he was a little bit faster at that point in the race. So, yeah, I mean, all learning, and Max rode really well tonight.
Just in the thing with the sand, not to talk about swole, did you ever think about going inside there? Like, did you think about jumping there at any point, or was it always outside for you?
It was always outside for me. I did go inside like twice during the race,
Okay.
but I wasn't doing that line that some of those other guys, I wasn't doing that triple line.
Yeah.
I just went like double, then like roll, the inside. So like I didn't, I wish I would have picked up on that, because they were railing that, and it was a lot faster.
Just with swole, when did you see him? Like, not even until he was under you, pretty much?
Yeah, well, I was flying through the air, and I was like, oh shit.
Really good day overall, like, you know, just building throughout the day. You were really good in qualifying as well. You put yourself on the board a lot, free practice qualifying. Do you take a lot of satisfaction when you go back to the pits after qualifying and seeing like how it went, how you felt and everything like that?
Oh, definitely. My first like fast lap in free practice, I went to the top of the board, and it's like I've done that a couple times this year, but it's like, you know, you're one of the first people to put in a lap, so that's why, you know, it happens. And then I got like bumped down a couple, and then I did another fast lap, and I went back to the top, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have some speed today. And like in I want to say free practice and first qualifier, I never went off of the board.
Okay.
Like I was on it the whole time, which was awesome. Super good for the confidence. And then second qualifier, I was like up there and then off and then up and whatnot. And I mean, I was 0.3 from fifth, which was sick. The riding as a whole all day was awesome. Unfortunate crash in the heat race. So I had a bad gate pick in the main, but I was able to work my way through on the start pretty good, and I had an absolute dogfight in the main. I was like, Justin Cooper was on me for 18 and a half minutes, just like would show me his wheel twice a lap, it felt like, and I was like on Dean like that, and it was fun. I made an attempt to pass Dean on the last lap in the sand, and I fell, but first race of the year where I finished on the lead lap for 20 minutes, so I was stoked with that, and just really happy with the riding, happy with the team. The bike has been sick, so yeah.
Results aside, like you say, both sessions, I think you went out and pretty quickly set a time that was fast enough, or went up to the top of the board. To you, does that suggest like the confidence that you have in yourself and the bike, you can just go out and you have no qualms about what might go wrong or anything like that? You can just go push harder right away?
Yeah, I've kept the same setup these last month and a half, 2 months, suspension-wise. We've had, I make minor clicker adjustments, but for the most part, it's been identical setup that I've been running. So it's like during the week, I'm riding the same thing, and on the weekend, I'm riding the same thing. And so like I've got to the point where I trust the motorcycle, like I have full trust in it.
Yeah.
And I truly love the bike right now. Like, it's so sick. I can do whatever I want with it, go wherever I want. And it's like the consistency of that is huge. And my confidence has gone way higher than it's been in a couple years, I would say. The riding days during the weeks have been awesome. Like, this week was the best week I've had in, honestly, probably 2 years. So I'm in a really good spot. I'm really happy. Just everything's positive at the moment. And yeah.
Let's go back to the heat race crash real quick. What happened? Just front end dived in and over the bars you went, or what?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It was weird. The very bottom of that first sand roller was actually pretty steep, and I don't know if maybe I went too far into the pocket to where it's like I needed to be making power there, but it kind of like the bike stalled. And so I was already committed though, and that's kind of why it like threw me over the bars, is just I wasn't ready for it, and I was trying to rush the section a little bit to try and make a pass, and that's what happened. So I'm really frustrated with that, because it just going through the LCQ just doesn't give me a fair shot in the main, and that's where I'm frustrated with just my track position. And even from the beginning of the day, I need to be better in qualifying, because that's going to set me up for a better gate in the heat race and help me to be there. And I fought hard all night, and I started at a deficit, and that's where I'm frustrated with that.
You know how talented you are, but is it a little dicey in that LCQ with all those guys there, and you're like, man, this could just not go my way, even though I know how good I am?
Yeah, and that's what I was struggling with in the heat race, is like especially being first heat race. Like, I kind of like not going first because there's lines.
Yeah.
And dude, it was just like the intensity was so high, but it's like I don't want to follow, but if I don't follow, I'm getting passed. And that's where I'm like, dude, trying to play defense while still trying to make a pass, and the guy in front of me is playing defense. So it's like, I was frustrated with that in the heat race. In the LCQ, I really had to kind of let it play out in the beginning, because it's like, dude, I feel good, but it's like, if I'm not smart with making some of these passes and making sure I have room to cut down, because it just seemed like everybody was coming into the corners early, because it's like, that's all you had to do to keep the guys behind you. And so to make a pass, you had to not do that. But it's like, if I would go wide coming into the corner, I had to make sure that I wasn't going to hit anybody head on. So it was definitely like, I was trying to rush a little bit in the beginning, but then it's like, dude, I'm just don't do anything stupid, because those guys were trying hard, and I jumped off the track once and just getting a little too close to those guys in the air. I'm like, dude, this is just, it's frustrating, but it's like, okay, just slow down, like let it come to you a little bit. And then I really started picking it up, and I felt good. And so even in the main, I started dead last, and really went backwards even after I made a few passes in the beginning. And then once I got in a good position and some clean track, like I still felt really good, but I'm 10 seconds behind the guy in front of me. So yeah, it's just I'm happy with my effort. It's just 15th is that's what I had tonight.
Long day, starts off early. Do we like day races? Let's go there first. No, not a day race guy?
No, I'm not. I don't like how the track turns out when the sun's out. It doesn't, it's not as good, right? The moisture comes up when the sun goes down, so it just makes the track, I think, a little bit better. Although, being first heat race, that track was sick. I was annihilating the whoops.
In the LCQ, we were all talking about in the press box, like, it felt like a deep LCQ. Aside from J Coop, you guys were just stacked like 8 deep behind
it was
that.
crazy.
How was it?
Hectic. I rode so good in my heat race. I started last with Jet and got all the way to 10th and almost, like, I was right there for 9th. Like, I was so pumped. Like, probably the best I've ridden all year right there. And then, yeah, the LCQ, I got a mediocre start, and I was stressed. Like, I didn't know where the Hill brothers were. I knew there was Shane. I knew there was Coop. And it was hard because Coop was so far out front. It was hard to, like, do the math because I was passing people and getting, like, Shane and I just kept passing each other.
Yeah.
So it was super, super hectic. And, you know, you never want to battle Chiz on the last lap. But, yeah, I was doing that big rhythm. And for me, that section, like, that side worked better because I was really slow going onto the tables. So I think that played in my favor a little bit. But, I mean, I rode really good in the nitro. I was god-awful in practice.
Yeah. Specifically with that rhythm, like you said, over table 4-3, all that mix. But to do that line, you're on the right side, but it kind of works better to cut inside before the Supercross triple, right?
Yeah.
So is it tough because you're like cutting over in front of guys doing the other line?
Yeah, I don't, like, Steve brought it up when I was talking to him. After I passed Cartwright, I was like, just had a wheel on him.
Yeah,
and I kind of like pointed that
yeah.
I was cutting over. And I'm like, I'm coming over, dude. Like, I'm not giving you the inside. And he, like, when I did it, he, like, kind of sat up and gave me the space to cut over. And that's what I think sealed it for me. But yeah, I was trying to have a little bit of courtesy because the end of that rhythm, I'm surprised there wasn't some sort of a hit there because there was, it just, the left side had to go outside at the end and the outside really wanted to go inside at the end. So that's just how it worked out.
Did you do the same thing to Jet in the heat? Like, you guys got up together and then I think in that rhythm, it looked like you waved or something.
So no, don't tell my wife this because she'll get really mad. But, like, Jet was next to me. And I didn't want him to stuff me in the corner.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of waved him by because I'm like, I don't want to hold him up because if I can sit on his wheel, even if it's for half a lap, he pulled me by like 4 guys. And then I passed him and then passed another guy. And then he passed me back and he pulled me. Like, we straight up went from last and second to last to whatever he got in 10th. So yeah, I wanted to use him to get through the guys. It's like when you get lapped, you try to use those guys to get through.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna race Jet like they're gonna race me, but if I can use him to make my life easier, because, like, if he stands somebody up, I can duck under too. So
yeah,
I was trying to just use it to my advantage. And plus, I don't want to hold up Jet. Like, he's gonna get by anyways. Like, it's not good for either of us.
Heat race is good, man. I was talking to Devin about it. You guys got up front. You were frisky right from the beginning. Was it nice to just have a start in a heat race?
I mean, when you're third around the first corner, it makes life a lot easier. But kind of sat there in that, like, 4th spot for a little bit, and then went back to 7th, and I was like wanting to hold on, and, you know, we had a decent gap, so it was, you know, not too bad. But nice to get into the heat. No LCQ, straight to the main, and then main was, you know, kind of with Caden Bourdon there for, you know, quite a bit, and then when I got lapped, I almost crashed in the Supercross triple because
yeah, I saw you jumped off the right side of the track.
Yeah,
right?
Jet and Chase, like, went on my inside, and, you know, I let them go, and then I kind of got wheel spin, wasn't going to clear the triple, and I knew Webb was fairly close. I didn't know how close, and, you know, once you go over the face, and if you're not, like, going to the landing, they can't see you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm bailing out of this, and right into the tough block. Thought I was going down, but, you know, we saved it.
Yikes.
Finished the race. You know, we'll take it.
What did you think about the track overall today? Like, how it raced, the different options available. Was it a good one, or do you like some things or didn't like some things?
The only thing I didn't really like, which didn't really affect me, but the turning rhythm, the long rhythm, like with that bend in it, the like having that option kind of made it difficult. Like, you know, in the heat race, I ended up on the right side going through it, and I had like bounce double, which is a little hairy, you know, with everyone kind of tripling behind. Like, no one, you don't know where anyone's going, but other than that, like, track was good. You know, they kind of tilled the corners up to get some water in, made some lines, which kind of went away for the mains, but you know, you expect that with a kind of harder base track. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Kevin Moran's main event guy, we're back.
Main event Moran's is back.
Is back. How did it feel today, man? I feel like you just looked better overall throughout the day a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
really good. Like, just to be really honest, obviously it's a mental game as well. Straight up, I've just sucked this year. Came out at round 1, felt good. Obviously had a little tip over in the LCQ, was fighting. Unfortunately, obviously round 2 was a mutter, and then I had a mechanical failure in between round 2 and round 3 that sent me to my head. I got a pretty legit concussion. It sent me out for 4 rounds. Came back, almost made the main event in AZ, and then boom, went OTB again, hit my head again, knocked myself out for a second time right in a row in Arlington, and took another couple rounds off. So it's been a very big struggle. Then the last 4 rounds have been very rutted and very technical, and I've really been struggling with the bike, just flat out. Like, obviously I was on the 22 KTM last year, I'm on the 24 this year. All the guys on KTM now are on this new frame that I can't even get my hands on kind of deal. So we are struggling on the bike that they were all struggling on in years past, and I'm trying to figure it out. And we made massive changes this past week. Finally had a point where I was able to get a little time to myself and really think about what I wanted to try. I actually ended up riding the 22 that I still had at the bike at my house, because I kind of planned on being on that this year. Until we swapped over to the 24 pretty late. And the 22 was way softer, it handled better in my opinion. So that immediately told me that I was way too stiff on the 24. So we actually got away from the A-kit suspension, went to an air fork. Literally the one side is OEM the way you get it from the factory, and then the side that has the dampening and the spring and everything like that is just kind of beefed up for me. So nothing too crazy in there, and it's a game changer. It loosened everything up. And then also, clearly I'm known as good starts, right? I'm the starter, and I have not been able to start on that bike at all. We tested at the beginning of the season, and we did end up going with a 1351 gearing ratio, gearing setup. Last year, and when I got on the old bike and rode it this past week, we had 1453, and it pulled a little bit better. The thing for me is I'm really good at getting jumps and then driving. Well, I can get the good jumps, and I kept wheeling. I've wheelied all year, so I didn't know if it was an ECU thing, a clutch thing, like the Recluse is hooking up. But yeah, this week I went back to the 1453, game changer. Dang near whole shot of the LCQ would have. Cooper wasn't in it. But yeah, just rode good. Finally had a little bit of flow. It's just been way too stiff, and I've been literally riding a board out there. Yeah. So it's just part of being a privateer program and learning a new bike, not having a ton of data and everything behind it. So it's part of it. It really sucks that we're this late in the season, and I'm finally trying to find my flow, and it's literally just been set up this whole time. But it's rewarding for me because I've had a really tough year, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, did I just lose it? Like, what is going on? And so to have the results today and still not even feel good and have the results that I had, like, super promising. I know what I'm capable of. Obviously, I proved it last year, and I want to continue getting better. So it's just good to be back in the main events.
Let's not talk about the main event to start, because the heat race was really good. You, Grant, you guys got up there. You diced it up with those guys the entire heat race. So that probably felt good going back to the truck, right?
Yeah, it felt really good. Me and Grant, I think we were 4 and 5 for a while. Felt good. Made a few mistakes, got loose a few times. A couple guys passed me. I ended up 9th. So I was a little bummed though. Honestly, I think I had a few more positions that I could have had in the heat. Just like made those little mistakes, and it was like a freight train behind me. So yeah.
What did you think about the track today? How it broke down, how it raced, and all that?
I thought it was good. Honestly, I think the good start obviously helped me in the heat as well, because it was a bit not one line, but one fast line, and everything kind of funneled into the main, like one inside, or so there wasn't much of like moving around, I guess. But yeah, I thought it broke down pretty gnarly in the main, a lot of rocks. But it was nice to get like a drier racetrack, Yeah. So it was good.
The main event, you said lost the rear brake or something, or what happened?
So I fell off the start. So I was already a little pissed, and I get up and I caught right up to like the back, 3 or 4 by the end of the first lap. So I was like, okay, like I've got a good pace, just keep going. And then like 2 laps later, my rear brake started to fade. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Tried to ride a lap with no rear brake, and I landed off the triple, and went to hit the rear brake, and nothing was there. So, yeah, went into the blocks again, and then, just pretty much rode around after that. There's not much you can do with no rear brake on a Supercross.
Take me through kind of your whole day, how you felt about the track and everything, and then pushing into the night show.
Yeah, so free practice, I felt great. I was P2 up to a minute to go and ended up 6, so that was really good for me. Qualifying, not as good. I think I was 12th and 15th or 16th, so ended 16th overall, I believe. And heat race, I rode pretty good in the heat, just ended up 8th. We had a good little group of us riding, and main event was good to me. I started 13th, I think, and made my way to 11th and kind of latched on to, I think Romano was 10th, and he got away from me a little bit at the middle, but kind of caught back up towards him towards the end. And he ended up 10th. I was 11th. I think he beat me by a second, which is good for me. That was my career best. But then again, it's right there. So you gotta want more. Really wanted a top 10 this weekend, just a little short. But no, I know I have it in me. The last lap, I think I was 3rd fastest on the whole track. So that stood out to me. I just have to get a little cleaner and a little faster in my opening laps.
Last week we talked about your progression, and because last week was so good, you kind of became the talk of a lot of people a little bit. Like, did you hear all that? Did you listen to that? Did you have people saying, like, dude, your progression, all this, like, it's amazing?
Yeah, I had a couple people come up to me and tell me, I'm riding good, but, you try to tone it out as much as you can because you don't want to, a big head going in. And like I said, I ended up 16th in qualifying, so that's kind of back to where I was at the opener. But yeah, just had to kind of dig through that and was able to end on a high note. So
I know you've been working with Ezra Lusk. How much has that kind of shaped your program this year, and how much better you felt week after week as well?
Yeah, it's been tremendous. I only got him a couple, probably 4, maybe a month before the opener of actual training. Opener, we was way off. Throughout the season, we were off, and it finally clicked in Nashville. I don't know what clicked, but it did click. I've been riding like that in practice throughout the weeks. I just haven't been able to put it together in the races, and we was able to put it together in Nashville. That definitely helped the confidence some, and I think my confidence grew a little bit, and I believed it a little more that I could run with these guys. So that definitely translated into the races. Just have to keep it going.
So we were just saying, second main event for you. Take me through the experience of what it's like to make another main event, get into the flow of things.
Yeah. So yes, second main event, my rookie season. I'm really happy with, especially making Birmingham I was very happy, and making my second main, my first Supercross season is a big thing for me, especially because this is my last racing Supercross this year with the team, and because I'm not doing Salt Lake City, I'm just gonna get ready for outdoor prep and get ready for outdoor. So yeah, I'm really happy to end the season off this well, making my second main event and earning some more points. So I think I got 19th in the main event, which isn't what I expect. I expected a little better, but I'll take what I get. And yeah, so pretty happy with earning some points. And yeah, so overall very happy with how the season went. Ended it healthy, feeling good, and yeah, just keep the ball rolling and going into outdoors.
Getting into these main events, what are some of the things that you're learning and trying to pull away from it each week to get a little bit better the next week?
I'd say the starts is a big thing. You come into a little 90-degree corner with a whole bunch of factory guys, so you really need to get your starts dialed, make sure they are on point, and I feel like they have been. I've been getting good jumps out the gate, coming into the corner is really good, and just putting myself in a good position. And I say with the main events, you just learn how the tracks shape up. Well, here in Philly, the track didn't break down too bad because it was a little bit of a harder base, but tracks like Indy and like Birmingham, they were super soft. So I mean, track, it's got pretty rough, and that's just something that you can't really replicate at a practice track. It's just different with the tough blocks, the track's more narrow, going through a rhythm next to 2 other guys, you just can't replicate that. And I feel like doing a full main event just teaches you how to race for a longer duration, and just being around those guys just teaches you speed, and I think it's been a big year of learning for me, and I'm really happy with how things turned out this year. Rookie year, made 2 main events. I wish I made a bit more. I made the East-West shootout, which I'm happy about. But yeah, just keep the ball rolling into outdoors.